she's going to be sharing her insights on mentorship as well as to highlight some of the work that her organization does. And she joins us now on the line. Thubelihle, good afternoon to you and welcome to the Maranatha Drive.
Good afternoon, Derek. How are you?
No, doing quite okay, thanks. You sound a bit faint. I'm not too sure. Are you speaking directly to the line?
Can you hear me now?
A bit better. Trusting that you're doing okay?
Yes, I am well. Thank you so much for having me.
Marvelous stuff. No, we appreciate you and taking the time to share your thoughts with us and the listeners this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We are trying to understand the benefits of mentorship, but maybe what exactly are we referring to when we speak of mentorship? Perhaps it's a big word that people are like, I don't even think I qualify, and how is something that everyone knows.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, many people will be like, why do I need a mentor, or what makes me become one? But really, simply put, a mentor is somebody that has walked a certain path that you might be interested in walking, and they guide you through that. They can either be having an experience of their own or professional expertise. And there are different aspects that one can be mentored in. It covers everything from finances all the way to spiritual mentorship. So it's really a guide, is somebody that walks with you, advising you, instructing you, helping you to be accountable on how you must complete a certain goal that you have, and probably they have actually achieved that goal.
So, looking at that definition of what mentorship is all about, does it mean everybody qualifies, or you need some particular skill sets for you to actually be a mentor? Besides, because you made it sound so simple, just because you've walked through the path of whatever it is, therefore you qualify to be a mentor. Is that what it means, or you need a bit more than that?
Absolutely, you need way more than that. Just because you know,
okay.
I always like to make this example to say, just because you know something doesn't mean that you're equipped to share or inform others about it, right? So it's really a skill. Yeah, it's really a skill, and I think that's where many of us get it wrong, and that's where many people do not take in some information from certain people because of how it is presented. So it is important that as much as you may know something or have experience in something, you also have the skill in terms of guiding the next person. Because with mentorship, you're not simply sharing information, but you are ensuring that the person is bringing into practicality what you are sharing, right? So you are more like helping them to be accountable, helping them to set goals. You also need to be strategic in terms of those things. So there are a lot of skills that are attached to it. You must have social skills. You must be able to communicate very well, clearly, so that the next person can hear what their expectations are. You must be able to check up on them. You must be able to sacrifice a certain part of your life in order to give them your time and your energy. So really, it's not about you having information.
Just the skill.
Yeah. It's more than
that.
It's
a bit more. I was just saying earlier on that you triggered me there, because I remember when I was in high school, when we had an accounting teacher who was like, his resume was colorful as can be, degree from this outstanding abroad university and this one from another abroad, and then, but hey, come to teaching, it was not making sure that it was not working at all. He wasn't able to transmit what he possessed. I hear you exactly what you're saying. It's a bit more than that. Maybe someone might be wondering as well, why is there a need for mentorship, particularly for young people in the spheres of personal growth, of spiritual growth? Usually when we look at mentors, we think, okay, I want to be an engineer, let me look for an engineer. But here are some of the everyday things: personal growth, spiritual growth. Why would our young listener be needing to know the importance, the purpose of mentorship?
Oh, so many reasons. I think the one that comes top of my head is many thinking that something that they want is a far-fetched goal. I can never be that, right? Especially during the teen years. Or what, me, an engineer, a doctor? I don't think so, right? So that will be like the greatest reason why we like to mentor teenagers at Garden Growth, especially in underprivileged communities, because somebody goes like, there's no way I can ever become that, right? So that's number one. The second reason is lack of accountability for self, not being able to be accountable of the actions that you need to apply in your life in order for you to achieve that particular goal. So the mentor then helps you to be accountable of the goals that you have set, the steps that you need to take, which brings me to my third point. As much as we might have these dreams and this desire to become a doctor, to become a lawyer, or whatever, people lack in terms of strategy and information, applying that in relevance, right? Because you will have all these grand ideas, you will have all this information that you have, but in terms of applying it accordingly in the areas of your life and they fit, and also strategically, right? So you need somebody that might have been an entrepreneur, if you are working towards being an entrepreneur, for them to say, you know what, this actually works, but I have realized that maybe if you want to run a non-profit company, it's better for you to register it as an NPC instead of an NPO, right? So you need a mentor in terms of that. But more than anything else, it is important for you to have a different eye to things, a different perspective to things. So so just having somebody that has a different idea, different view of things from you, particularly if they have some sort of experience that you don't have or expertise, that's a good thing.
Certainly, and I like that different eye perspective, right? They always say that two heads are better than one. If you just joined us, we're in the Marathon Drive, and we are in conversation currently with the Thubelihle Maduma. This is the Transformation Corner, and we're discussing mentorship. If you want to talk to us, share your thoughts, your comments, your questions, perhaps share those on +27 73 470 3520. I've got a comment coming through on our line here. And I think it's right in the backdrop of that idea of why it's important for personal growth, for spiritual growth. It says, is this idea of mentorship always supposed to be a formal arrangement, right? Or it can actually happen naturally by proximity, by relationship, and not having to say, okay, Thubelihle, please mentor me. I want to become the next podcast champion and whatnot.
I think you can definitely be mentored informally. But I also believe that as much as things can go with the flow, a flow goes in a certain direction, right? So as much as somebody may be mentoring you, so let me just bring it home, right? When people get into a relationship, especially intimate ones, young people, they like to say, no, let's go with the flow. But things get messed up when the flow is not directed into anything, right? So it is important that, yes, you can have an informal mentor where you guys will sit down and maybe have all those focused meetings and whatnot. But communication is important to say, this is the relationship that we have, especially if you are expecting or hoping for them to support you and hold you accountable. It cannot just be something on top of your head. You're like, oh, I have this person in my life, they're an entrepreneur, so they're automatically my mentor. Because what then happens is that sometimes you will require their time, their energy, their expertise, and they do not offer you, but you have not given that. You have not communicated your desire to that person, and vice versa. Some who will say maybe they are mentors, but it's not really formal and stuff. It becomes strenuous to the person if it's not communicated, because the time they need you, maybe the time they need your advice, you're not available because it's not so formal, right? So I think, yes, absolutely, you can have a friend who is more informed, more experienced than you. However, it is a person, as much as they are an engineer and they need all the skills, but I also need them to be able to communicate with people. You might find somebody who is very, very social, and maybe their job, like being a teacher, requires them to be social, but they're terrible at planning and committing to things. So you benefit a lot as a mentor. That same skill that person is learning, you researching on how to teach them in terms of being able to apply it in their lives, it also makes you a better person. But more than anything, it also helps you to be accountable because there's somebody else that you're responsible for. So your reputation is also on the line here. If you don't present yourself very well, that person might not offer you the respect that you deserve. Yeah.
I think that is very powerful. In imparting, who is imparting will actually have something that you benefit. I think the scripture speaks of this, Proverbs 11, if I'm not mistaken, saying the one who waters will also themselves be watered. I think that is very profound, and
Absolutely.
I think in this case it does apply.
Iron sharpens iron. There's a verse that I came across that says iron sharpens iron. Really?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
You're thinking you're helping the other person, continue helping, then you're also getting assisted.
Absolutely.
So true. Thubelihle, thank you so much for chatting to us this afternoon and just imparting this wealth of wisdom with our listeners in mentorship, the benefit and how it can actually make a difference in your life. Before we let you go, I want you to talk to us about Garden Growth, who you are, what you do there, and how the listeners can actually get engaged with you in the program.
So Garden Growth is a teaching ministry, and basically the objective, or rather let me say the mission of Garden Growth is to empower young individuals with practical skills and spiritual wisdom. We grew up in an environment where we were told you need to study the Bible, you need to have personal devotions, but the church has not really, on a daily basis, maybe let me say particularly during Sabbath programs, where we find time to say this is how you actually have the devotion, this is actually how you study the Bible. So we then decided to come together as young people and create a safe space for people that have never studied the Bible before, or people that have studied the Bible in the church, but maybe they just feel like they've been doing it wrong, or those who just want to study it more. Let's come together and teach each other on how you should do it. You don't have to stress about, oh, maybe I need to be a pastor first or whatever. These are young people that some are still amateurs, just like you. It is a safe space. So we provide practical skills for this life, but also equipping you to attain the life to come. That's basically what Garden Growth does.
And if they want to engage with you, where can they find you?
They can hit us up on 061-436-7576. The easiest way really is to search us in any of the social media platforms. We are available as Garden Growth, or if they would like to apply for mentorship, they can just go into our website, gardengrowth.org, and they get a mentor.
Marvelous stuff, gardengrowth.org. Thank you so much, Thubelihle. May God bless you and the work you're doing. God's work, may it be enlarged and its ministry enriched. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, and thank you. Have a blessed one.
Adventist World Radio, SID Media. We are not.
That is a wrap, everybody. Thank you for coming through. My phone switched off in the middle of the interview, so yeah, but I'm hoping that you enjoyed that and you learned something about mentorship and the importance of mentorship. Take care. Bye. Okay, how do I end this? Okay, yes. Do I say yes?